Okay, it is 10 seconds before the open, Thursday, May 19th, 8:30 a.m. Central Time. We've got the 1 minute and the 15-minute charts pulled up on our screen. Market sold off quite a bit yesterday. Quite a bit indeed. It was just down, down, down all day. All day. It didn't really relent. So we are 150 points lower today than we were yesterday. Let's look at the daily chart. Here's the daily chart right here. So as you can see, right here we were. This was Tuesday, Fed announcement, and then wham, they just slammed it down yesterday. Got short all day long. Sold them off. So I'm going to denote the first minute of trade with, let's see here. There we go. Going to denote the first minute of trade with, pardon me, an orange line. So we got right here. We've got right here. We call this the opening range. It can be important. It doesn't have to be. But sometimes trade, the open of the day starts in an area of significance. So we'll watch and see what the market's going to do today. We had some news. I guess jobless claims came out at 7:30 a.m. Central Time. And we do have some other news. What is it? Existing home sales coming out at 9 a.m. Central. So another 28 minutes and we'll have that info. So our overnight high, and again, this chart's kind of deceiving. It's only because we've covered so much ground. Lot of movement here yesterday. So here's our overnight high right here. Overnight low is below us. Let's see where that may be. Right down to here. And we tagged the regular trading hours overnight low that we put in about a week ago. So we came down to that level. Here, I'll show you here. So in the overnight session, right, we sold off all day yesterday. We came down in the overnight, got down to about 38.55 and then came up. Now we're just somewhere right in the middle here. So again, could be a volatile day. We're at important levels here, so there could be a lot of movement. Mindful of that. Our stops that are in place that are there to protect us might have to be a little bit wider. Here is, let's see, this is the 5-minute and 15-minute chart right here. So here's the 15-minute that shows the overnight session. Here's the 5-minute from yesterday, just sold way off. Don't know what I'm going to do just yet, whether I'm going to get long or short. I'll be watching it for 2 hours, so from 8:30 to 10:30. Then I'll be done. Some days I do a lot more talking, other days I'm just more quiet. So, who knows what today will bring. So this 39.10 level, this was kind of the base from yesterday. This is yesterday's low pretty much and yesterday's close. So it was a gap down this morning, right? So we gapped lower. That means there was space between here and here. Came up to it. Now obviously the question is, do we come in and try to get into some of this area here, or does it get rejected and do we continue selling off? That's the $10 million question, really. Time will tell. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm planning on having a winning performance today. I'm defining winning performance as watching the market, just observing it, just kind of going with the flow, assuming that, let's say that I don't have to make a single trade today, I'm just going to watch it. More than likely, if I take the pressure off of thinking, man, I've got to make a trade, if I just watch it and observe, at some point, usually, I can have a pretty good idea of what I think might happen. Now, it doesn't mean I'm correct 100% of the time, but if I'm just watching it, going with the flow, not stressed out about the movement of it, it's going to be a lot easier to get a handle on what it's doing and where it's trying to go. So yeah, that's the first part of defining an excellent performance today, or a winning performance. The other part would be not fearing that I'm going to miss a move. So most of the stuff that I get in, I've got several minutes, sometimes 15, 20 minutes to generate an idea. And then even once it gets close to my price, I usually have at least a minute or two to execute. And then just doing just that, buying or selling and having a stop in place, knowing like structurally, where does this thing have to go for me to be wrong on this trade? And then where does it have to go for me to be right? What are my target areas? So the other day I mentioned I want to do better at, I feel my entries have been really nice. I haven't taken much heat on most of my trades. I've scaled out okay. I could tend to hold it a little bit longer and scale out better, but I think it would be helpful if, not only if I have a target in mind, but if I have a time frame as well, right? So a lot of times you put a trade on and you think like, oh man, I put it on, why isn't it working? 10 seconds later or a minute later, why isn't this thing working? We've got to ask yourself, like, what's your time frame? And if you're like me, I mean, there's times where I've got to wait an hour or longer to put a trade on. So if I'm waiting for a setup and then I get in it, chances are pretty likely that I'm not going to have instant gratification and I will have to wait in order for this thing to develop. Interesting push off of 39.20 there. Pretty big rejection. This is kind of where all this was consolidated. So that's definitely going to be a little battle zone for us, for sure. We do have this news in 20 minutes coming out. So who knows, who knows how much the news will move the market, but if we start moving back and forth, I'm going to be watching that 39.20 area. So if I drag the 5 minute chart, so each bar here is 5 minutes. Oops, if I drag this onto the screen, we can see that 20 was an area where it looks like, some business happened. Anyone who got long here was hoping, hoping that it would hold and then maybe reverse a little bit. It did not do that. So it makes sense that up at this area, came up there this morning and then got rejected off of it. Doesn't mean it can't go above 39.20 or 39.19. It certainly can, but we know just looking at the price action, it's an area where some business has been done. Right? Open, right out of the gate, shoots right up, goes 30 points higher. They sell it off a little bit. Looks like this was last Thursday. So a week ago, we were right down here, pushed it up, and then kind of ran up. Bulls want to keep it above this 39.02. If not, if they don't, we could see a retest back down to here. Let's see. It's a pretty good rejection there on the 15-minute bar, right? Came up, tried, got sold off, pushing lower. Yeah, a lot of movement. Could be a lot of movement today. A lot of volatility. Right, so there's what we call the opening range retest. Some people will try to get, right, so if they see a push up, they'll try to get long here. They'd get long here, and then you'd figure they'd be wrong if price got below, somewhere below here. So, and then you'd look for it to push back up to here, and then eventually here and come back up. So I'm not taking that trade today. There's some days I'll take that, other days I won't. Well, what do we know so far? Well, pushed up. Probably all the people who shorted the other day took some profits, ran it up to here, and then sold off pretty hard down to there. Let me pull up my overnight screen just to see if there's any noteworthy spots down here as we venture lower. $38.72, like that could be significant. 73, 72. It was like a big spike lower there last night. So just looking at this, again, this is the overnight. It's pretty telling, right? Like, just come down, 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 down. Came up here. I marked this because it seemed like it'd be an area of significance. I marked it after the fact, though. There and now, like the longer we stay, I think below 38.90, the more likely we are to just push lower. So really the top of the opening range there. Again, it can get a little crazy with news coming out. And it is like a red flagged news event. So those are the ones that have the potential to move the market. Doesn't mean the market's going to get all crazy, but it has potential to move the market. just fail. Hey Travis, how's it going? Just saw your thing here. I don't keep my screen up that shows any comments or anything like that. I'll check it every now and then, but I don't look at it. So if you type something in and I don't answer, then forgive me for that. Not being rude, just watching the movement of the market. Yes, trend is definitely down. Yesterday, early, I was able to get short and it was nice, and I thought, 4,000, like a target of 4,000 on the S&P down to 3980, like that'd be a good range. We definitely got that, right? Got that and then some. So, feels like we'll continue to the downside. And I mentioned that the other day, at one of these days, like, we're in a downward trend looking on the daily chart. My bias is to the downside, but you just never know exactly how it's going to unfold, right? Like down here, we could have just kept going. We could have not come so high. Could have just had a smaller bounce and then pushed off. It's hard to say. So I feel like we continue moving to the downside, but it doesn't mean I'm just getting short right now and loading the boat, looking for good entries to do so. Which I'm sure you well know. All right, so we got news in like 7 minutes. This 39.10 area, I'm gonna watch this just in case. Every now and then news comes and it can just get you, like, throw the markets into a tizzy. So we'll watch that area up there. Yeah, we'll watch it and see if it comes up here and fails, or if it goes higher and then fails, or maybe the news comes out and it just drops lower and we get a pullback, short it. So a lot of if this then that. We got to be aware of what my man Mark Douglas says. He's written probably the greatest book ever on trading. It deals with the psychology of it. It just reminds us that anything can happen and something will happen, right? So as long as we know that, hey, anything can happen, we could end up 300 points higher today on the S&P. We could end up 500 points lower. We just don't know. And you say, no, we couldn't do that. That's impossible. Man, the Fed could come out and say something crazy. There could be some kind of new technology discovery. North Korea could bomb somebody. You just have no idea what's going to happen. There's always black swan events somewhere that you have to at least protect yourself against, i.e. putting in a stop or knowing where you're wrong. So, as long as we know that anything can happen and something will happen, then we'll be in good shape. Tea time for this guy. And watch 38.90, see what it does here. All right, there's 38.90, kind of getting rejected off of it right now. I'm going to watch it and see. I'm I might try like a small, cute short here. So if I did do that move, like, and being that we're so close to news, which I haven't, but if I did, I would look for it to go in my favor, take some profit, and then have a stop in place and hold that against the news, thinking that every now and then you get lucky where you can get into a position, you've got a good entry price on it, take some profit, put your stop in place, maybe tighten it up a bit, to where you lock in some profit, and then 10 minutes later, 5 minutes later, 20 minutes later, if the news comes out, and it really moves the market, it could move it in your direction where you could cash in a little bit more. All right, so we took out we took out 38.90. Right back to the opening range area. Got another 3 minutes until the news comes out. Here's our overnight sesh too. So let's look at the 5 minute and 15. And here we are, right here, right? So we're up here, we're down here. Couldn't take out 72. I mentioned that 72 to 73 level based on this spike. So now let's see if the bulls can take control, how high they can run it up. Next year I'm watching this 39.10, certainly 39.20, and then this overnight level here. Don't know what I'm gonna do just yet. It might be that we come up here, it's looking, strong and I get long, or it might be that we come up here, it's looking weak and I get short, I sell it. So hard to say. Alright, so we're below 38.90 here. See if they hold that, see if they stay below this spike. If they stay below it too long, I might short it here. But we've got a minute to news, so I'm hanging tight. Hanging tight. Thanks, Travis. Yeah, long volatility, not a bad play at all. Not a bad play at all. VXX or slash VX for the futures. Alright, let's see what it does. I'm not in any position. I'm not long, I'm not short. I don't have any resting orders. All right, I don't know what the news is. I don't know if it's on time or if it's late, but the market is moving a bit in anticipation of it. So again, the news can move the market a lot. Sometimes it doesn't move it at all. Just depends. Just about. I don't care what the news is either, because the headlines will justify a move anyway, really. So it doesn't matter to me what the news is. I'm just watching the price action. Day like today, it's helpful for me. I need to just be mindful, to be patient, let the market set up. There's just so much movement back and forth that, you feel like, oh, I'm missing out. If I'm not involved, I'm missing out. But you've got to make sure your moves are calculated and that you're patient. If not, you can just get chopped up. Like, you can have a right thesis or a right hypothesis, but the market can move against you, shake you out of your position, and then it goes in your favor, only to have you miss the train because you got off at the station because there was fear, or there was like an early entry maybe. So, all right, let's watch 39.10 here. See what happens here. Looking strong so far. See what they do at 39.10. 10, and maybe we'll watch against this spike here. Alright, so we're up into 10. Considering trying a short here in a little bit. Not just yet though. Give it a little bit of time to set up. I'll know when I see it. I'm not short yet. I'm going to sell a little piece right here. Might have jumped the gun on it a little bit. I'm in just a quarter of allowable position now. So we're watching that 10 level. We came up to it. I'm leaning against this and this here. It's looking a little bit stronger than I thought though. Let's see what we do here. I'm going to buy a little bit back right here. I probably should be adding right here to tell you the truth. But let's watch 10. Let's see if it stays below. I'm going to buy some more back right here as well. There we go. And a little bit more. Okay. So I'm in 35% of my original position still. Got my stop pretty tight on this thing. I'm going to put the stop just below that high, thinking that if it takes it out, I can always re-enter. Be nice if it stayed below 10. That would give me reason to believe that we could see this down here and then eventually, right, like come down and take this out. So took profit on that one. That one worked out nice. Shoot, I was going to scale out just a little bit more right there. I'm going to scale a tiny bit right here, just because I don't like it coming up like that. There we go. All right, so I'm in just over a 6 of that original position. With my stop at break even. Looking for somewhere down in here. Try to hold it, see what we can do. All right, so 39.10, it came up to that level, came up quick, pushed below, staying below. I'm still holding that short pretty much against the high of the day. If it comes up here again and then gets weak, I'll definitely look to short it again. Mindful too that we have come down a long ways, right? I feel bearish, like we'll push lower, but it doesn't mean that we can't come up way higher first and then go lower still. So how's that for time frame? My bad. My bad. Target really I think I'm realizing I'm more of a scalper than I thought. I feel like I'm pretty good at choosing levels. So I've got this last little runner on this little piece. It's a fifth of the original position, and would have been smart to try to hold a woulda, shoulda, coulda, right? All right, I'm definitely scaling this thing now. That could have been it. That could have been where I should have got out. Or scaling, I mean trailing. So that could have been the spot. Could have been the spot. I'm looking for one little push lower and then try to get out down here of that last little piece I got on. That's not what I want to see. All right, that last little runner I had on, it just took me out right there at break even. All right, so there's 10. So battle zone is now between 10 and this guy down here. 10 and the top of opening range. That's it. It looks like 7. 39.07. I'm not going to try to guess. It's feeling. I'll just let it be. I'm going to pull up the overnight session again. Take a look. All right, well there was 10. That was it, right? Came up. Scaled out all right on that. That last one, I should have took that final piece off right around here. That was dumb. I was trying to get too much out of it. I mean, it still worked out well. I scaled out all right on the first 80% of it, but or 75%. But that last bit, that would have been a good spot right there. It was asking too much for the market on that move. So I've mentioned this before, but it's been helping me think about it lately. So every day when we watch the market, I watch the market from 8:30 to 10:30 Central Time. Um, I guess it'd be like if you saw someone sketching something, and they're just drawing a bunch of these lines all over the place. And at first, you don't see what the lines are. Like, they don't represent anything to you. You don't know whether it's a sky, whether it's a car, whether it's a person, a dog, a building, a meadow. You just have no idea. You can't tell. But then after a while, you're watching it, and it's like things just kind of, they just kind of click, and everything lines up. And you think, oh yeah, I see that. That it looks like this, or it is. It's a person. It's somebody roller skating. Oh, cool. Oh, they're skating with someone else or having a good time. There's a smile on their face. Oh, they got orange colored wheels on their skates or whatever. As time goes on, at some point, you can see the picture. I think it's kind of similar to that with the market as well. Whereas there's some times where you don't know the picture, like you can't tell what could be going on, but then it becomes clear. And sometimes it becomes clear within 10 minutes. Sometimes it becomes clear within an hour. Sometimes it doesn't become clear. You just don't know what's being painted, so to speak. And so that's been helpful for me to usually try to give the market a little bit of time, let it set up and do its thing, and then get involved once I think I have a good idea of what's being painted, of what's going on, of how it's looking. This will be interesting. Market's looking like it's trying to firm up, right? Like this is that area where it hung out the other day. Surely, like from here, so we got like 39.30 to about down here to around that 39.10 level. 5 minutes looking a little bit stronger, doing what I would call like a wedge kind of. Now, granted, I mean, the market's just on its butt, but it doesn't mean that we can't push up a little bit in the short term. So it'll be interesting if we pull back and hold, and then another attempt if we go higher. So I'm considering a long at this point, considering buying a little bit. I haven't done so yet, and it may be that it takes off, it leaves the station, it lasts higher another minute, and I don't get involved, and that's all right. But what was that area of contention, right? 39.10, like even here, it feels like it wants to push higher. But I'm gonna wait for a pullback. Maybe I get a pullback, maybe I don't. But 39.10, they sold them earlier, sold them here. Now we're up here, and it's not going anywhere. Now it doesn't mean that it can't like stall here and then come lower and then just blow through here, but I'll be watching it down here to see if it breaks these lows in order to try to get long. Trying to pick a spot here. Again, keeping in mind that we are in a bear market. The trend has been to the downside. It's holding that 07 level. I thought about adding a little piece right there, and I would have added some if we got a bit lower down here. Didn't give me that, so this could be the move right here. Okay, so we're here at 20. Let's see what we do here. Let's see if we just pop the top and go right through. Or if they take it up a bit and then come back in and fail. if you're so inclined, you could buy here, and you could hold it against like this 05 level down here. So I'm just trying to get a feel for what's being painted here. Like what is the market likely to do? I'm conflicted right now because so looking at our 5 minute and 1 minute, like we can see that was in fact kind of a wedge. We had 39.10 to 39.07, this area right here, kind of the point of resistance. So we came up, down, and then finally took it out. However, I'm conflicted a little bit because just of the daily chart. Maybe I'm reading into this too much. Right here, so in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, I wonder if this is like a failed breakout, like a head fake where we come up and then push lower. I don't know. To be determined. To be determined. Okay, so we came up again, put a new higher high, sold it right off. I think that was the little push lower, and then there. I might try to get short here. I'm gonna watch it, gonna give it a minute or so. Yeah, I'm gonna try just a small short here. I might add to it. Probably try to hold it against this level right here. We've got one more minute until the 5 minute bar completes. I want to, so this could be a strong move if guys are playing this like a wedge and a breakout. It could be a nice strong move lower if in fact it's not. So if this 5 minute bar shows a pretty big wick here, that would be helpful. And then I'd love to see it get down to like 39.10 to 07 and then sell off from there. So that's what I'd like. Can't always get what you like, but hey, that's what I'd like to see. So we'll watch 39.10, we'll watch 07. We'll see if a little bit more of the old painting is coming a little bit clearer into view. Let's see. So I'm in just 20% of allowable position that I'll allow myself to get into. So not too big of an amount. All right, so a little bit more, so I'm just in 25% total. All right, let's watch 10, then 7. We could have a nice one here. I'm gonna give this one a little bit. So it came down to 10, holding it for the moment. I'm going to scale just a little bit right here. All right, so I'm out at 25% of it. I'm sorry, 20%. I'm still holding 80%. So it came down to 10. Next area is 07. If we get below that, it could work out to be all right. I'm going to take some off right here as well, just a little bit. So I'm still in 70% of that original position. There we go. That's looking really nice. Taking off a little bit more right here. Sweet. Oh, very good. Very good indeed. Taking off a little bit more right here. All right, I'm in 20% of that original position. That was a really nice fail up here. Really nice. Okay, now, all right, let's see. So I don't have much on. I'm just gonna hold it. See if we can come up with. I'll hold it against like the high of the day, or not the high of the day, but I'll hold it probably against like this level right here. My last little 20%. Love it. That was real nice. Okay, so again, we held this level the first time. Yeah, let me put my stop in place. There we go. Okay, so was looking at that. Remember just a few minutes ago, I don't know, 10 minutes ago, I was talking about how we were seeing, right, like kind of a wedge right here, which a lot of times this will be a spot where I'll be tempted to get long. However, when we consider where we've been or where we're at on the daily chart, we're in a downward pattern, like we're bearish. The sellers have just been stepping in strong lately. So gave me reason to believe that we could come up and then fail. So a few minutes ago, I was conflicted. I just didn't know, boy, should I try getting long somewhere and ride it up? Should I try getting short? I was waiting for like the piece of the painting to become more clear, right? Like the market is sketching stuff out. It's showing me things. I think it's this, but I'm not sure. When it came up to here and then pulled back in quickly, I thought, okay, this could be a nice spot. So all the people who were playing that like wedge breakout that I just showed you on the 5 minute, so anyone who's looking at this who looks at it as a wedge, and that's what it is, but maybe, I don't know, they just take a wedge pattern and they play it no matter what, no matter where we're at in the market, like no matter what the daily action is doing, and that's fine. But I thought if that pattern fails, then all those guys who are getting long up here, they're going to be bailing and getting out and selling and dumping what they were in. So that is in fact what happened. That was kind of the thesis that I had. That was really nice. Holding the remainder of that 20% up against this level right here. My entry was right at 15.5, so nice entry. Didn't take any heat on that guy. Went in our direction really quick. Definitely got to get a little bit better at scaling out. Yeah, got to hold a little bit longer. Got to get a little better at that. All right, I'm going to move this stop down to that little spike lower. I'm going to keep it pretty tight here, see if I can ride some down. There we go. Ooh, that's really nice. I like that. Sweet. Okay, so my trailing stop is out. That would be if you're short, this would be a great level to hold against. Earlier in the day I mentioned 39.02. came down to here, did that, had a nice little pop lower, and then that was it for that. All right, sweet, I'll take it. Well, I might be done for the day. Might be done. That was the trade. That was one that I should have got a little bit more heavy, and I started out real light, was just was 25% of the allowable size I'll let myself do. So probably should have got a little bit heavier on that. Oh well, woulda, shoulda, coulda. Scaled it out pretty well. So it seems like with me, like the earlier in the day it is, the more clarity I've got as far as what I'd like to do. Let's see what they do, or if they do anything in 07. All right, I'm pleased with that scale out, right? Took some off at 38.95. Here we are at like 39.05. I like it. Oh, 07. Let's watch this level. Not surprising that we're kind of whipping back and forth. So this trade here, that first short, like that was okay. Little gutsy on that one. This was the one though. Like this was. I feel like I need to do better too with like position size. So this one I was in 25% of what I'll allow myself to get into. This one, same thing. I should have been in on this one a little bit heavier, maybe 50%. All right, so they came up to 07. I don't want to do that. Let's see. Came up to 07 and sold off. Remember, 07 and 10, that's an important area here. Excuse me. What's the market trying to do, and is it doing a good job? I was tempted to try a little scalp short there against 39.10. I still might. I don't think I will. Just let it be. Oh two. Let's see if we can break 02. 3900. Okay, remember earlier in the day, like right before news, I mentioned that 38.90 could be an important level. That's where we just came down to. So just came to 38.90, popped above it. Or I'm sorry, popped below it, came below it, and then popped above another 20 points. Yeah, that was a nice little wick there. I thought about it, but I didn't do anything there. Get the last of the tea there. There we go. Yep, 39.10. That was the level, wasn't it? Boys and girls. Here it is, 38.90 again. Feels like we fail and push lower. That's another thing too I really need to work on. I feel like I'm pretty good at, I just, for some reason I do better at outside in trades, right? Like trying to pick a high or a low and fading the move. So some people, they might be like an inside out trade where you've got this stuff going on here, they do get it getting along here and then riding it out. I just tend to gravitate to trades where I'm looking for a top or a bottom and then placing a trade from there. And this one I feel is good enough to, you know, it'd be something where if you took a lot of your profit early on, and even if you left 10% on, 10% of it, let it run, and who knows, maybe we end up 50 points lower today or than where we are right here. And that's something that can really, you know, pay dividends if you've got a trade on essentially for free and you just give it some line and just let it run and see what it does. So that little scale out that I did right here for the last of that position where we shorted up high, it would have been smart, I think, looking back to say, okay, like I saw this wick, I mentioned this when it was happening, and just put on that last little bit of that position, put on that last little, in that case it was 20%. Put it on right there, figure I'm wrong above 10 or maybe even 12, and then just see if we can let it go and either set a target or just walk away, come back at the end of the day and collect your earnings, right? Like go to the ATM machine, get your money, call it good. So that's definitely an area I need to improve on. However, let's see. Now, win or lose, today's been a winning day, and that's good. I've had a good amount of winning days lately. I can and will have a winning performance every day. That's because we're defining having a winning performance as just watching and observing, right? Like not being in a hurry. assuming we don't have to make a trade, like no one's holding a gun to my head. I don't have to trade if I don't see anything I don't like. Secondly, not fearing I'm going to miss the move. So I've dubbed myself, probably for psychological reasons in order to help me with my efforts, the no FOMO trader, right? I don't want to have fear of missing out. I want to let the market set up, watch the picture be painted, and then act accordingly. The market will tell me what it wants to do. And then lastly, just executing with stops and targets in place. And lately that last one has been something too that I need to work on. I've had great entries, right? So like getting short up here, but then holding a target. I think 10 wasn't a bad area, and then 07.5, like I scaled out some there. That's not bad. You want to pay yourself a little bit. But even at that rate, if I liked the trade as much as I did, I feel like, all right, probably should have taken off a total of 30% there and then let 70% ride a bit instead of getting out of, 60% and letting 40% ride. But just thoughts, just musings, things that I've been thinking about. 5 minute looking kind of wonky here. Oh, what is this? What's going on? So here's the 5 minute, right? Up, here's a recent push up, and then just feels like we'll just continue going lower. This is interesting here, this little wick. That might be the last stand right there. So yeah, there we go. That makes more sense, just looking at the 5 minute chart, that it would sell off a bit. Let's see, look at something real quick here. Oh, all right. Just if you're a ding, I'm just trying to roll a put out in FedEx. Let's see, let me adjust this guy. Try to get a little bit more out there. selling a put at the 175 level. Had to roll one out. I had to strike at 190. FedEx did a little head fake yesterday, so it looks like it's going to push lower. And that it might do so. So I've got one at like I've got two at 175 now. Or no. Yep. 1 June at 175 and then 1 August at 175. Got some Starbucks too. And then all that gold stuff I got out of that, but I've entered a little bit of gold here lately, but waiting on it to firm up. Oops, sorry. Waiting on it to firm up a bit. Let me go back here, MES. All right. Well, I might have to wrap it up here. So, a little before 10. Well, I tell you, it's helped me just tremendously. Talking through trades, it's really been a nice help. Really been a nice help. Let's see if this is the push though, or if it came up to here and then if it's gonna fail now. 92, yeah, you could, yeah. Pull up ye old 5-minute chart. If you're short next year is at 72 to 73. That was based on like the overnight action. I need to sit in a massage chair. Might be helpful. Might be nice. Pull up NASDAQ here. Yep, so it looks like kind of a dead cat bounce, bounces up, and then just like we could just continue, just resume to the downside. Resume the procession. I'll look at gold real quick here, 1 second. There we go. All right, right back to opening range, right? So there's some significance to this area. Not all the time. Nothing, it works 100% of the time, 50% of the time. But it is good to be mindful of where the market opened at and what it did in that first minute of trade, right? The people who actually move the market, it's not any one firm, but the smart money, like guys who are buying, 1,000 contracts at a time or selling 1,000 at a time. They were doing business right here on the open, and they bought, so they pushed it up. It's good to be mindful of that. Could it be mindful of those areas? Like, it's no wonder that it comes down here, a little rejection, same thing here, that level pops up and then just fails. So let's look at the 5 minute again. It might be looking a little funky still. I don't want a full screen. There we go. So yeah, right? Just like NASDAQ, like down, 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 taking profit, right? Pops it up, can't do it. Down, 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 we'll see. Or up, up, up. I don't know. Don't know. What else? Alright, maybe I just like to hear myself talk, but I'm going to talk a little bit and I talk to reinforce stuff and beat it into my own head, but I'm going to talk about with trading, the only thing that you have to manage is your emotion. So I was walking by a construction site the other day, new home, been there, done that, built a new house from the ground up, renovated a house almost from the ground up. Lot of work, right? Or I was in the PDR, paintless dent repair industry for 20 plus years. Let's say you own a body shop. Man, there's a lot of things you have to manage. You got to manage parts, you got to manage customers, you got to manage repair times, you have to manage employees, you have to manage the IRS and taxes and audits and new technology. All that stuff you've got to manage. You have to stay on top of. You've got to be mindful of where it's at. The compelling thing with trading, right, is that there's not much to manage. And there's a very low barrier to entry. You get a screen, you got $500 in your account, you trade futures, you're off to the races. You can use that $500 to leverage and trade $10,000 worth of financial product if you're trading something like the micros or even a regular S&P. I mean, you could be trading a lot more than that, even like $50,000 worth of financial product with just $500. I don't advise that, but I'm just saying that is the lure, that people go for. So you buy a few monitors, you put $1,000 into an account or 500, you're off to the races, right? You're clicking, you're trading. But people fail to realize that you have to manage yourself. You have to manage your own emotions. So, with all those other professions, there's millions of things you have to manage. Deadlines and all of that, and shareholders. And with trading, you have to manage one thing. That's it. Just one thing. And if you can manage that well, I feel like the rest of everything else will take care of itself. If you can manage your emotions, you'll be good at managing risk, you'll be good at taking profit, you'll be good at having stops in place, and you'll eventually make it as someone who trades, either for a living or for a hobby or whatever your MO is. But it is much easier said than done. If that weren't the case, it wouldn't be that 95% of people who try it fail. It would be that 80% of them don't fail, 80% win, but that's not the case because our minds just aren't wired to handle uncertainties. They're just not wired well for when it comes to trading. So, doing my best to manage emotions, right? That's numero uno. Managing emotions. Little pop here. Bulls definitely want to see it get above 07 to 10. Like that's their area. If we come back, push back in here, I'll be watching it. Definitely don't want to take this out. If we get way lower and then firm up and find ourselves back in here, I might consider a short-term long. Just thinking out loud. All right, let's watch 39.80. See what it does there. Pretty good little sell-off there. So let me look a little closer at the 15-minute here. Trying to still down, lower lows. Watch 38.90. Watch this level 2 down in here. Almost 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. Who's watching? Who's on? Got 3 viewers, man. Yeah. No, I go over this and like watch it. If I get 10 views in a day, I'm probably 5 of them. Because I'll intermittently like, oh yeah, I want to see what I did at this level. I want to see what I did at that level. I want to see how I acted. I want to learn from this. JDM. Macro boy. What's up? JDM. Be like a year from now when I've got 1 million followers. JDM is like the got in on the ground floor. Got in on what? I don't know. Yeah, it's all good. It's going well, macro boy, Antonio. JDM, any trades today for you? It's fun to have a little bit of camaraderie. I'm stuck here in a room by myself, so I'm getting all cheesy and geeking out. Like, all right, got a little bit of trading community. Cool. All right, let's see, nothing yet? Yeah, I don't blame you. Upper macro boy, up or down today? If you were watching earlier, macro boy, right here, I was predicting short, so I got short. I also got short here. Scaled out a little bit at 10, 7, and then took some off the table down here. Thought about another short after this guy, didn't do it. Yeah, S&P 500. Yeah, end of the day, man, I used to try to predict, like, where we're going to head, but I don't know. I just know, like Mark Douglas says, anything can happen and something will happen. So nothing surprises me anymore. But yes, if I had to choose, it feels like bearish for the day. Feels like be down. But it could change. Looking at the daily, like we're definitely in a let's see. Let me move this over. We're looking here like we're in a bear trend, but it doesn't mean that the market can't like pause here, Doesn't mean that the bears are just like taking a breather, pause, come up a little bit for a day or so, fail, and go down again. So short term for today, I don't know. Travis, you still there, or did you bounce out? Travis, you're one of those guys. I wouldn't be surprised if you got like 500 Bitcoin, and if you've been invested in it since like 2013. You just mentioned Bitcoin. You said it looks like BTC and S&P taking similar rejections right now. So. All right, so it came down to 38.90. Let's look at 5 minute here to see if we can glean any information. Oh. 5 minute firming up a little bit. Yeah, maybe, I mean, never know. Maybe the Bears take over, we fail. Maybe the Bulls do, and we kind of end up somewhere back approaching this area. So that was a nice little pop, right? 38.90. If we come down in here again and hold, I might look to get long and then see if we can push the envelope. Want to try to get above this here, and then 07 and 10 would be next areas of contention. I'll be right back. See what they do down here. Whew. Pretty big push. Still got a few minutes on that 5-minute bar. Thought about trying to get long, but I'll watch 38.90 and see what we do there. See if we firm this thing up a little bit. Give it a minute or so, a few minutes. Yeah, I still got another 2.5 minutes till we put a new 5-minute bar in. I'm gonna try a little piece getting along right here. Want to see it hold this area. Alright, so I'm in 15% of my allowable size. So I'm in small at this level. It's funny how I can be in such a small amount but still have emotion about the trade. It's not good. I don't like that. Want to see it get above 38.90 here. Here we go. I'm going to sell a third of that right there. It's a whole bunch of nothing. All right. I'm going to just hold it against this area right here. So on this move, I'll look for it to come up here, up, and then up higher. I could be wrong. I scaled out of some of it. All right, scale out some more right there. So I'm just in a third of that original position. On this one, I'll try to hold it against this here, see if we can't squeeze a little juice out of this guy and have it run a bit for us. Time frame. Dang it, sorry guys. Time frame and where I was wrong. I was getting in here thinking that getting in around this area thinking I'd be wrong, or more than likely wrong down here. Again, I mentioned I was only in 15% of the allowable size that I'll let myself get into. So it was a little bit more risky to do that, but thought it could pay off, could have some decent risk to reward. Yeah, I was just watching the 15-minute here, like, looks like it's firming up a little bit. So this is something, and it's small enough, so maybe I just keep the stop here. let it run, and who knows, maybe we can get up to 20 or to this area up here to the overnight high. Maybe not. Maybe we just fail. So here's our 5 minute. Let's see if this shows us any more stuff here. Yeah, I'm more of a scalper than I thought. As I'm watching over videos. Like, great entry there, right? But I mean, I'm getting out of this thing here. A little premature, maybe. I don't know. Definitely want to see it hold, right? So here was a little bit of a wall for us. This 38.95, call it. Want to see it hold that. I'd like to try to add to this thing, but I'll just let it be. Just let it be. So remember I said earlier, if we do come down, that this little guy, this node, would be our next area of contention. So far it has been. So I've got, here, I'll scoot this over a little bit. So again, let me tighten this up. So that's our little area right there, that dude. Let's see what we do here, down at 95. If we get down to there. Ah, shoot, I almost bought some there. All right, let's see what we do here. I'm gonna buy just a little bit more right here. So what I scaled out earlier, I was in a third of my original position. I'm back into 2/3. Want to see it hold above here. My resting stop is definitely below this node here. Don't want it definitely don't want it if it gets below that. If it comes down, I want to see it hold that 95 level. Yeah, 38.95. So that's ugly on the 5 minute. That's not cool. Oops. I've got one stop higher, and then that last piece that I'm holding will be against here. So let's see. Pretty volatile. So total position size is 10% of what I'll allow myself to get into, so not too big of an amount. Came up here, got above that, thought we might pull back into here. That's where I bought some, thinking I'd like to add a little bit, which I did, but looks like it might prove me wrong here. So let's see if we hold 38.90. All right, took me out of that one. I had a stop right at 91. And I'm still in a third of the original position, holding against this low. Ooh, man, if that thing gets taken out, look out. Look out. Well, good little head fake there. Good little head fake. Let's see if we hold that. I don't know. 38.90. There we go. See if it's running some stops. I'm going to try to enter in a little bit. I'm going to sell a little bit of that piece that I re-entered right there. Kind of just gets me back to break even with that little bit that I added. I am still holding a third of the original position against this low down here. Probably should hold it against this node now. I think I will. All right, so I've got my stop right at this level for the last little piece that I'm in. We'll see if we can push higher, push lower, who knows. So 38.95, that's our area of contention. We want to get it above that area. Here's 5 minute. I'd like to see it get up and make a little move. Definitely volatile. There we go. All right. Well, so far the action for me has been a short here, and then scaled out. Another short here, scaled out a little soon, and then took the last of it off down here, which I was pleased with that. And then actually got long here, got out of some here and here, added a little bit back right here, wiggled out of it, and I'm still holding a little piece now just against this level. So not like a highly probabilistic trade. I feel like that could get taken out right here, but this trade has already been, it's slightly profitable. Even if I get stopped out, it'll still have some profit to it, but the risk to reward is there, right? Like, and it's such a smaller amount compared to these other trades I did here, so it's quite small. But thinking, maybe I could, pull a little cash out of it if we go up here and then take this out. I'm definitely fighting the trend though. I'm mindful of that. So here's my 15 minute. I'm just kind of stuck in this range. We're stuck here trying to still the downside, but who knows? We could get a nice pop. You just don't know, right? You just don't know. All right, so we're definitely getting like a triangle here where we're putting in, it's kind of coiling on us, right? For the most part. So again, this is the trade. I don't think the probability of it working out is that high, but I'm in it small enough to where like I'll put some money on it and see. And again, it's not a lot of money at all. It's laughable, really. But we'll put some money on it and see. Maybe I get lucky and it comes up here, and if not, takes me out. Not a big deal. We'll still locked in a lot of the profits from the two trades earlier that worked out well. All right, y'all. I'm gonna wrap it up. Let that one play out. Anyone who's trading the rest of the day, hope you have a great day. Be wise, have your stops in place. Know that you can and will have a winning performance today. if you base winning on following your process well. So talk to you later.